And Donald Trump joins me on the phone right now. Mr. Trump, thank you and happy Easter.
Okay, you too.
So I want to get to some policy issues, but first I've got to ask you about this nasty fight that has broken out between you and Ted Cruz. Do you categorically guarantee that nobody on your campaign, nobody tied to your campaign, had anything to do with this National Enquirer story?
Totally. I had nothing to do with it. The campaign had absolutely nothing to do with it. He's got a problem with the National Enquirer. I have no control over the National Enquirer. I didn't even know about the story. I just got it last night. Somebody sent it to me over to read so I could at least see what it said. I had nothing to do whatsoever with the National Enquirer, and neither did the campaign. And I will tell you, for him to try and say that I had to do with it, try and put the shoe on the other foot is disgraceful. And by the way, he's the one that started it. And from what I hear, he and his campaign went out and bought the cover shoot. Melania did a cover shoot for GQ, a very strong modeling picture, no big deal. But it was a cover shoot for GQ, big magazine, and it was, fine. And from what I hear, somebody bought the rights to it, and he was the one, or his campaign bought the rights, and they gave it to the super PAC. And just so you understand, that super PAC is very friendly to Ted Cruz. He knew all about it 100%. So he started it. I didn't start it.
But let me ask you, this story, this that we see in the National Enquirer, this kind of rumor mongering, should this kind of thing just be off limits? Do you condemn this story?
I don't care. I mean, really, I don't care. The National Enquirer did a story. It was their story. It wasn't my story. It was about Ted Cruz. I have no idea whether it was right or not. They actually have a very good record of being right, but I have absolutely no. Frankly, I said, I hope it's not right.
Let's go back to the thing that started this all off. You mentioned, and of course, in fairness, you did not start this. This started with that super PAC ad featuring Melania. But in response,
he's very close to the super PAC, just so you understand. And there's no way in a million years that super PAC did that without his absolute knowledge. Don't forget, I call him Lion Ted. I call him that because nobody that I've known a lot tougher people over the years in business, but I've never known anybody that lied like Ted Cruz.
But let me ask you, though, because in response, you said in that tweet that you would spill the beans on Heidi Cruz. What did you mean by that? Spill what beans?
Well, there are things about Heidi that I don't want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about them. I mean, you can look, but I wouldn't talk about them.
But what really set Cruz off was when you retweeted that photo, that unflattering photo of Heidi Cruz.
Well, it was a retweet that somebody sent to me, and it was a retweet. Now, look, what he did was far worse. I mean, he takes out a thing and sends it to Utah, to the voters of Utah, and it was a cover shoot, and it was, by a big magazine. She was a very, very successful model, big model, and did lots of shoots and lots of cover shoots. And to send that like it was some kind of a bad picture was disgusting to me. I thought it was disgusting. And they put they make me like the bad guy here. I'm just responding to what he does. I counterpunch, but I'm responding to what he does. But always the press likes to make me the bad guy. He's the one that started it. He knew about the picture. He may have even bought the rights to the picture, meaning his campaign. And the super PAC had it. He's very close to the super PAC. I didn't start this. He did.